Welcome back, everyone. We're 20 minutes past the hour on this Thursday morning. More than a dozen transgender members of the Air Force are suing the government after their retirement benefits were just revoked. The lawsuit filed last week says the move to deny all transgender service members who have already served between 15 and 18 years their early retirement is unlawful. The Air Force previously committed that they could apply for benefits, then reversed that position. The suit claims a change will cost these troops roughly up to $2 million over the course of their lifetimes after being forced out of the military following an executive order signed by President Trump. For more, I'm now joined by Michael Haley, an attorney at GLAD Law, one of the advocacy groups that helped bring this lawsuit. Thank you so much for being here this morning.
Thanks for having me, Hannah.
So just rewinding and letting our viewers know, these are airmen who have already served between 15 and 18 years in the armed forces. They're now forced to figure out what's next because they don't have retirement benefits that they were promised when they joined the military. You're working alongside these transgender service members. What are you hearing from them about this change?
Well, as you noted, Hannah, these are all service members who have served for 15 to 18 years, and they would continue to serve, but they're being forced out. The Air Force offered them the option to retire early, and they had orders in hand telling them they were going to be entitled to these retirement benefits, which include pensions and health benefits. And some of them had already out-processed and were in the process of moving their families across the country, only to find out that the Air Force was clawing those back, telling them they had to return and go through the military's involuntary separation process. These are just really significant benefits, as you mentioned, in some cases, depending on their ranks and how long they served, they could be losing up to $2 million over the course of their lifetimes. This is a promise that we make to our service members who have served and sacrificed to keep our country safe, and it's really a betrayal of that promise to claw these back.
Yeah, not just these men and women, but their families who make so many sacrifices as their loved ones are serving. The military does revoke benefits for things like dishonorable discharge and bad conduct. How is this instance any different? Do they not have the final say? What was the reasoning for revoking their benefits?
Yeah, as you said, the Air Force has really specific policies about when and under what circumstances they can revoke these benefits, and there simply has not been any reason given. The types of things they can revoke for, like you mentioned, are a dishonorable discharge, committing fraud, some kind of a calculation error mathematically, but none of that is really present here. The Air Force simply can't rescind these retirement benefits just because they don't like the people that are being removed from the military.
And this is a relatively recent development. Banning trans troops from the military was a priority for President Trump. He signed the executive order on this just a week into his second term. That order, just for our viewers, it claims that these troops' service, quote, conflicts with a soldier's commitment to an honorable, truthful, and disciplined lifestyle and is harmful to military readiness. Yet, the group you're representing have all been serving for over a decade. Before this, were there any issues in the armed forces when it came to trans military men and women?
There really weren't. I mean, these are folks, like you said, who have been serving openly as transgender in many cases since throughout the first Trump administration, throughout the Biden administration, and now continue to be open and transgender. And throughout that entire time, the military has not identified any actual issues that occurred from their service. Their commanders all speak highly of them. The people who they serve alongside all wish they could continue to serve. So this is really just based on and as you mentioned, the government is saying that they lack honor, integrity, and that's simply not true. There's no substantiation for that. These are all people who have served honorably, fought in Afghanistan, Iraq to keep our country safe, and now they're being kicked out with no reason.
All right, Michael Haley, attorney at GLAD Law. We appreciate your expertise and analysis on this. We hope you come back. We really want to follow this story. Thank you again.
Thank you so much, Hannah.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our NewsNation app right now on your phone, and you will get fact-based, unbiased news for all Americans.